In a world with increasingly few private spaces, it can feel healthy to keep a journal. A journal is a private space to jot down our thoughts and ideas, a space outside the purview of others. We can write as freely and as messy as we want to. At the beginning of any year, many of us try to keep a journal. This can be challenging. It can become a challenge to make time writing anything reflective or just for ourselves, just like it can become a challenge to make time for ourselves, period. The key I find is just to write. Don't make any grand statements. Just write with some prerogative and with the belief that something down is better than nothing. If you want to write, find a way to write anything. Now, if you want a journal, let me share some tips based on what kind of journals you might keep. For everyone, consider having what I call a life journal. Use this journal to reflect on experiences worth remembering. For positive experiences, we now have a private record for us to relive vicariously through. For negative experiences, we unload something taking up mental space. Naming a bad experience helps us control it. A tip for this journal type: plan to write for only the minimum amount of time you can. It's hard to dedicate a finite amount of time for something in a busy life. If all you have in a given day is 5 minutes to write, then plan to put yourself in a space without distractions and write in this journal for 5 minutes. If you spend more time writing than planned, great. But don't force yourself into expectations just to feel guilty about it when you don't meet those expectations. To reiterate, journals are like rehearsal spaces for ideas and thoughts. Rehearsals are meant for messy, unrefined works in progress, not something you need to judge yourself too harshly by. Another journal type to consider, a project journal. For any project, but especially for writers and creatives on their projects, it can feel helpful to have a space to jot down ideas and details, but also troubleshoot issues. Everyone engaged in a design process needs to troubleshoot how to turn an idea into something that exists. Personally, I use project journals when I'm working on a screenplay to figure out plot elements and to try out dialogue or how a scene should go from A to B. For new writers, consider taking on what I call a daily exercise journal. It's advisable to find a routine for writing. If you're new, consider trying out a journal to complete some daily writing exercises outside or prior to starting a project. Use this journal to respond to brief writing prompts just to begin the process of developing a writing mindset and becoming efficient at communication. Think of a daily exercise journal like a mental gym. It's a space to work out without having to consider publishing or public sharing, things that may come later. It's a rehearsal space for your style and craft, a place to write with abandon and let loose as you develop as a writer. Even experienced writers should consider a daily exercise journal as a space to step away from a project and refocus on something different with lower stakes. Remember, writing is fun. It doesn't have to be for publishing. Sometimes we need to write just to write and have our experiences on paper for ourselves.